Hello and good morning. Hopefully you can all see and hear me now. I don't know what had happened there. My IT gal came in and had a look and it had defaulted to something very strange. But here we are and we live and learn. And yeah, so as I said earlier, it's a very grey, wet and miserable morning here in Mayo, and I thought I would do some crafty makes with you, and I'm going to use some of my made to surprise products that I have in my stash. There is a new product out and it's called the multi glider mechanism and it looks really fun. I haven't made anything with this yet, so we're going to do it together, and hopefully all will go well. I can see now there are some people in the chat, so I'm going to give a little shout out to everyone. Hello to my moderator, Benita. I presume you can all hear me well. I can see on the laptop there that voice is moving, so give me a thumbs up if I'm loud enough for you and that you can hear and see me okay. Alicia said that's much better. Great. Thank you, my IT gal, for jumping in. She was just about to go out the door to pick up her daughter from preschool, so I am so glad that she managed to jump on here with me. I've also got Hazel is here. Good morning, Hazel. Thank you for joining early and going through all this with me. Benita said, all is good now and my volumes are good. That's brilliant. Good morning, Susie. And good morning, Pippa. Yeah, so we have 5 people watching. That's lovely. If you are able and you can click the thumbs up for me, I would really appreciate that. That would be really handy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click down to the desk. Fingers crossed. It's going to go well, and I'll show you the products that we're going to craft with today and the card idea that I've come up with for today. So here we are. Yeah, we're down at the desk and yes, volumes look good. Brilliant. Do you know what? I just wish I could do this one time and it just all goes smoothly. Anyway, it's keeping it real. So, like I said earlier, I'm going to start crafting with this. It's the multi glider and it's the 6x8 mechanism, and I have everything here ready. So with this, I'm going to bring in all my bits and pieces. I take it out of the little plastic bag that it comes in. This is the packaging, and I put it onto a magnetic sheet with some cardstock. And what I've got here before I start, I have got an A4 sheet of cardstock. I folded it in half. I actually put it into my scoreboard and I scored it at 5 7/8 on the long 5 7/8 on the long side, and it gives just a tiny little lip on the back, but that's perfect for when you want to open your card. So this is going to be my card base for this. So I've that ready. Then I've die cut out this mechanism piece here, and it puts score lines in here and cut lines for you. Now Sam recommends you take a little piece of wax, and I have an old tea light here, and just run all along your edges like so. And what this does is, with any kinetic mechanism, when you do this, it helps everything to move more smoothly. And once you have that done, then you can get a piece of kitchen roll or tissue. I have some tissue just here, and then just buff along those edges. And what it'll do is, when you cut your cardstock, sometimes it can leave little fibers there. We don't really see them, but they are there. And when you do that, it does help for your mechanism to slide smoothly. So I shall just clean off the desk there. So that's my base. And what I've done now is, on the back, I have added some very thin double-sided red liner tape onto this, and I've used, this is by another brand, it's blue liner tape. It's the same as the red liner tape. You can use tear and tape. You could use a really thin bead of liquid adhesive, liquid glue if you want, but I have that all prepped. Don't put any up on the top here, otherwise your mechanism won't work. Sometimes you gotta just stop and think of these things. So I have this all ready to go. I've burnished all my score lines on this so it'll work nicely. So that's that. Now, I've also die cut out this piece here, this big rectangle, and this is going to be the piece that we pull up and down. And I've a little post-it note there reminding me I need to stamp on this piece. Then we also need one of these, and it's a little bar or a stopper, and that's this piece here, and this is going to help us to stop our movement. Now I've also, there are mats and layers here that you can use to embellish your slider. I have mine cut already. I actually cut mine by hand rather than using the die, because I'm just using one matte layer, and I figured it was quicker just to cut a strip the width I wanted and then cut them down. So that's what I've done with my little pieces here, and you can see I've used some pattern paper. Now, in case you want to cut them down like I did, I found that I needed to cut them tiny bit, just shy of 1.5 by 2.25, and they'll fit perfectly. But like I said, there's dies there. I've also done the 9, yeah, 3, 6, 9. You can cut 9 of these, but I'm not going to put these where they're going to be covered up. So you can do as many or as little as you like. I'm going to put this matte layer underneath this piece here, because I want a really fine border going around, and it'll give me a really fine border. And then when my slider moves up, I'll have a red panel here, and I'm going to stamp Christmas onto it, and I'm going to do some heat embossing with that. What else? I'm going to show you the pattern paper. It came from the Perfect Pop-Ups pack. This is an older pack, and I do believe it's sold out. You may have it in your stash, but any Christmas paper you have. I mean, you could take red cardstock and just splatter it with some liquid white paint that you have, maybe acrylic paint, a Posca pen, you know, Tipp-Ex, make your own. So that's my pattern paper. I'm also going to be using this. It's a Gnomes Life A5 stamp set, and I have stamped out my gnomes, and I did a little bit of coloring. I'm going to bring it up so you can see them. There's nothing special in my coloring here. There are dies to die cut these out, and I like to fussy cut because I'm a fussy cutting gal. I'll tell you, I've had a couple of instances where I've put a die down on a piece, die cut it out, and it's been offset. It hasn't die cut out properly. So for that reason, I prefer to fussy cut, but you could use the dies if you want to. I'm going to fussy cut those out with you. And then I've got this die, this stamp and die set. It came in the Simply Cards and Papercraft magazine. It was issue 210. I love the font and the sentiment on these. I'm going to take the Christmas here. Now, I have cut my stamp, so it'll come off. I'm not going to use Christmas memories because I want to use the sentiment Merry that I have here. So I just want Merry and Christmas. So that's how it's going to look, and I'll white heat emboss that. And then I have a plethora of other products. You can see here I have my Merry. That's from some of the Made to Surprise words and dies, stamped words and dies. And I like to, when I'm sat here crafting, I take them and I die cut them all out, and then I assemble them. And then I have a load of them in there, so when I want a word, I can just go to my tub and pull one out. So I have my Merry from that. Now I have stuck a bit of acetate. I'm using, it's a construction type acetate. It's not a flimsy acetate. And I'm going to stick this onto the slider piece, so when my piece is up, my Merry is going to stand up. And then I'm going to have these Christmas trees on either side, and I'll have my gnomes in there. It's going to be smashing. And I want it to look as if my Mary is just floating in the air, but it'll be on my acetate. So my Christmas trees are from the, I think they're from the show-stopping Christmas ephemera is where they're from. And generally when I get ephemera, what I do is I scan it and I have it then on my laptop so I can print up, and these are actually printed ephemera images so that I can use them and have as many as I like. Now, I'm not sure what the angel policy is when you do this. I don't send my cards, but I think you can do it up to like 250 cards, and you know, so check out the angel policy on wherever, whatever products you're purchasing. But I do it with my pattern paper, I do it with my ephemera. When I get new stuff, I scan it and save it onto my laptop. So that's what I do. I also took some of the little Christmas mistletoe. Oh my gosh, I couldn't think of that word. And I have that in there. I don't know if I'll use it. And I've got a little Santa and the reindeer. That's from, gosh, I don't have it here, but it's from one of the Made to Surprise stamp and die sets, and I'm using that. So that's all my parts and pieces. I'm going to have a quick look and see who else is here. We have Pamela. Good morning, Pamela. We have Cara from Little Rabbit Designs. A family friend, XJ Pearl, is here. Good morning, James. How is the weather over there in the USA? I hope you're having better weather than what we're having here. It's very overcast, misty rain. Yeah, so not found my ephemera. Think it's got legs and walked out, Hazel said. It's there somewhere, and you probably find it's under a pile of papers or maybe in a tub. But yeah, so I think what I'm going to do before I start assembling my card, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fussy cut out my little gnomes. Then I'm going to do my stamping, and then I'm going to do my heat embossing, and then I'm going to do my assembling, because look, it's 10 to 11 here on this fine Irish morning. I don't know if you're doing anything or going anywhere, but you know what? I'm in no hurry, so I'm going to take my time. Normally I prep all this and have it so it's done, but I figured, you know what? Let's just not. Now, I have my fussy cutting. Oh, there it is. Fussy cutting scissors. I've actually I colored these images yesterday, and while I was chatting with some crafty friends, hello to Kay, Pam, Lynn out there, my crafty friends, and I colored them in yesterday. Then I scanned them and I cut them all ready to be fussy cut, and they were set there. I should have really done it last night, but yeah, I was doing other things. I was watching actually, I'm not going to cut this because these are the original. I'm going to bring in my ones that I have here ready to go. I was watching Kelly Taylor Evans. Have any of you heard of Kelly Taylor? She is an American crafty lady. She is amazing when it comes to coloring. And I was watching her live last night, and I got so involved watching it. I forgot to bring my fussy cutting in, because that's what I'll do. I'll put something on YouTube and I'll have like this all my pieces here ready to go, and I'll just sit down and I'll read through the comments, and some of them I will leave a comment on, and others I'll just be watching and doing a bit of fussy cutting or a bit of colouring. So now that didn't take too long. There we go. One little gnome. Isn't he gorgeous? I just love the colours on him. So I think I want to have 1, 2, 3. I want to have about 5. So I'm going to fussy cut 5 of these. Now I'm going to take my time. You might notice I'm not using a traditional scissors. like we'll say something like this. This is the Fiskars Soft Grip Scissors. It has a spring on it. I find this scissors really good for fussy cutting. It's very, very sharp. I love Fiskars because you can get a little tool which will allow you to sharpen your scissors. I have these scissors about, I don't know, maybe 6 years. I haven't sharpened them yet. These were one of my first scissors that I got. I got this one and the long black one, these ones here. These were the first two scissors I got as part of my crafty scissors set. I do have a lot of other ones that I've purchased over the years, and I'll tell you something, I keep coming back to these ones because I find them great. Especially this, I have an issue with my thumb here. A lot of people get a tightening of the ligament. I have a relaxing of the ligament. I can't remember what the name of it now, but I get pains here. I've actually got a cyst that's come up. I don't know if you can see it there. I burnt myself on the oven about a year ago, and you know the way it kind of fills and then it just shrinks and goes away and you're done. But I had a cyst come up from it, and between the two of them I find that my wrist gets very tired. I don't have the power that I used to have, but I find with these scissors I'd sit and cut all those out now, no bother to me, and my hand wouldn't be hurting. But if I used a conventional scissors, I find that my thumb, my wrist would be very fatigued from it. So I don't do that. Now, you might notice as well that as I'm fussy cutting, I am not moving the scissors over and back. I've got my scissors at an angle. I hope you can see all right there. I keep my scissors at an angle so I can see where I'm cutting, and they're kind of leaning away from me. And I'm moving the paper with my left hand and just opening and closing my right hand. As I close the scissors down, I'm moving the paper around. Then I open the scissors, bring my paper down another bit, and then I'm moving the paper. So I know a lot of people don't like fussy cutting. Good morning, Tez. My voice is indeed back. I forget when I'm here live to read the comments and keep up with it. I was saying to Benita, I could really do with having headphones in, and I could do with having her reading the comments to me and saying, oh, Tess just said that she's delighted to see you back, because I forget to actually I forget to read them. I get so invested in what I'm doing. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Kelly Taylor. Her colouring is amazing. It is. I switched Benita on to Kelly Taylor, didn't I, Benita? I mean, Benita is fantastic at alcohol markers and colouring. I definitely recommend you watch some of her tutorials. And let's see now. I need to make sure I have all the different little ones. So I need a polka dot little one. Yeah, Benita is a brilliant alcohol marker colorer, and she really enjoys Kelly. I think some people aren't switched on to her. They watch like Sandy Allnock, which is another amazing alcohol coloring artist. Yeah, but Nicole is another one, Nicole Spohr. She's lovely. I love watching her. And then you have Jennifer Maguire, Amy Orr, and there's so many others. They're the ones that I tend to watch. If you have recommendations for people that you watch on YouTube who are good at alcohol marker colouring, definitely leave their name there in the comment. It'd be lovely to watch some other people doing their colouring. Okay, we're nearly done now. Like I said, I'm taking my time. We're in no hurry, are we, folks? Remember to thumbs up. That's right. Yes, if you are watching, and even if you're on your TV, sometimes you can press the select button on your TV and it brings up down at the bottom where you can thumbs up and subscribe and all that. So I would love if you could give my video a thumbs up, whether you're live here or whether you're watching this as a replay. There's 17 watching. And we have 11 thumbs up. So that's brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to take that off the screen there now, and we'll go back to doing another bit of fussy cutting. I'm nearly done. I think I'm just going to do 5. Lynn is here. Good morning, Lynn. Thanks for joining. She says, I'm late. That's no worries. I had to do a restart, so don't worry about it. We had no sound here in the previous one, so don't worry about that. I have family coming over in a minute, so we'll have to go again, but we'll definitely watch on the catch-up as soon as they leave. Well, look, family is important, you know. The live will always be here, so don't worry about that. The fact that you watch at all, whether you watch me live or you watch, you know, after the live is ended, it's all good. It's all the same thing. It's just lovely to have you here. It's lovely to, you know, just share my crafting, because otherwise I'd be just set here. Well, admittedly now, I'd be set here on a messenger video call, probably with Benita, and we'd be prepping cards to record and stuff like that. And if I wasn't set here with Benita, I'd be set here with I don't know, maybe Avril, my lovely Irish crafty sister. I might be set with her. I'm going to do one extra because I do like to embellish the insides of my cards, and I plan to put some of my Christmas trees inside my cards, inside the card. So I think it would be nice to have a little gnomey in there as well. And I like the arms spread because it'll be like as if he's gone, you know, like that, to the sentiment that I'll stamp in as well. So now I printed these on literally like 120 printer copy paper, and the color and everything came out brilliantly. I've been using other cardstock to print on, and it's a kind of a grayer cardstock and it's not as smooth, so I was finding that my images weren't coming out very well. So what I did was I printed these on just regular printer paper, and then I backed them on 300 GSM cardstock because I'm all out of 220. And yeah, then I just cut around them, and I used Kalal to glue the two, and there was no warping of the paper or anything, but I found my images came out an awful lot better than the way I was printing them. So I need to step up my I don't know if you can see the difference in these two. This is the paper I was using, and it's not a smooth paper, whereas this one is the smooth computer paper, and I just found that it looks very little there now that you can see, but in real life this is duller than this one. So if you find that you're printing images or printing pattern paper downloads that you're getting and it's not coming out well, look at the paper you're using, because I think that makes a really big difference. So I have all my gnomies here. I'm going to just pop them over there so you can see them. Ted says she hasn't made many cards lately. a frozen shoulder. Oh my gosh, I've heard about this thing about having a frozen shoulder. I've never experienced it myself, but oh my goodness. She says she has it in both. Oh, double whammy, Tez. And the pain is so bad. I'm trying to crochet but can only do it in small doses. I've had it since October last year. Well, my heart is breaking for you because I know you love to craft. So that's terrible to see that. She had an injection in one which has helped. I just need to look up the courage to get the other one done. Yeah, that can be a bit scary, can't it? Oh, look, pluck up pluck up the courage there, Tez. Yeah. Okay, I've that done. I think I'm going to do my stamping next. So I'm going to stamp inside my card and I'm going to use my stamp positioner. I have a plethora of stamping positioners. And I have to say the one I go back to over and over and over again. If you're English, you'll get that little joke there. Is this one. It's the Craft Stash. Well, what was Craft Stash, now Craftworld. I love this stamping platform. It's my go-to every time. I mean, I have the Altenew 2.010 or whatever it is positioner, and I thought, oh, I'm going to use this for putting my images down and ink blending and stamping. And you know what? It's right there. Just right there, but I still go for this one, which is over there and under a pile every time. Right, so my sentiment inside, I want to pull out now. Let's have a look. I'm going to go over here to some of my Christmas sentiments that I have. And I think, oh, I like that one. I like this one. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Isn't that lovely? It's from Papercraft Essentials issue 188, which is a magazine. I might use that. We've got Merry Christmas with its magic spell, make all things happy and all things well. Let's see what else. Do you know, isn't that a problem? I've 2 big boxes that is down there. I was only saying to Benita the other day, I really need to get them out because there's so many. I think I'm going to go with this little one, but I might use one of these, so I'm going to leave that one out as well. Pop that back over there. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to pop. Now, I want to do a little bit of embellishing, and I know really I should be getting on and making the card, but here we go. It's live crafting. I'll do what I like. So I want to have a couple of little, well, do I want a couple or maybe just one? I kind of had thought of a little cluster of maybe, and this is hard for me to say now, brace yourself, 3 trees. No, it's 3 threes. 3 trees. 3 trees. I was thinking of a cluster of 3 with maybe my little Gnome there beside it. What do we think of that for the inside? And then I could have my stamped sentiment. Now, I know we always put it up there, but I was thinking of putting it like, it could go there, do you know, for something different. And then you've got Dear Benita and Jonas, wishing you a very happy Christmas from our house to yours, Simone and Mike. And then having the little, I like to do things a little differently. Or do we want to kind of go with it up there? I find when I do this, I'm more inclined to go Benita and Jonas, there's my sentiment, Mike and Simone. And that's it. And I don't tend to write in the cards then. Whereas I find when I offset my sentiment, I tend to kind of put a little bit of writing in there. So what do we think of this for a place to put our sentiment? Now, I'm going to watch there in the comments to see what you all think. I love that stamping tool too, Benita said. I miss Craft Stash. I miss the coloured card and things like this, Lynn said. Well, do you know what, Lynn? I agree with you. I miss the glue. I miss their foam pads. I miss their coloured cardstock. I miss their packs of envelopes and card bases. They were such an amazing company. For me as an Irish person to purchase from, because I never had to pay customs fees. They always filled in whatever the form is so that it would go to customs and come right through. So whatever I was paying for shipping was covering my customs costs as well, which I found was brilliant. I really miss Craftstash, and I don't think Craftworld are going to be doing anything like what they used to do. What is the best printer for printing images you have coloured? I've never thought of using paper then sticking it to the card. Well, now, printers. Printers, that's a very personal thing for people. I've got a HP printer and I've also got an Epson printer. Now I'm using the HP and it's like a powder printer and it prints really well. But I don't know. I think it's personal to everyone. Would I recommend either of the two printers I use? No, because they're older, and I reckon there's far better out there at the moment. But yeah, I think for me, I like to color images and then scan them, and I have them. Sitting down and colouring in, to me, it's lovely to do, but I would much rather print a whole load that I have coloured. So, you know, it's not as if I'm taking images off the internet, printing them up and sticking them in. Like, I get my stamps from wherever and I colour them in. And then if I want a different, you know, I've gone kind of Christmas colours with these. If I want more of a spring or summer or autumnal look, I can stamp them again and colour them in. But sometimes it's like, it's handy to have them, you know. But regarding printers, I don't know. I think there's a lot of recommendations out there and I wouldn't like to recommend a printer because, to be honest, I'm not fully happy with the two printers I have. Anne, good morning, Anne Puddicombe. Lovely to see you here in the chat and watching. We've 22 watching now. We've 14 thumbs up. So if you're here and you haven't given a thumbs up yet, I'd really love for you to do that. So please do click that thumbs up. What it'll actually do is it pushes my live out on the YouTube algorithm, so more people will be notified that I'm live. So that's the reason why we ask for the thumbs up, subscribe, all those things. Anne says, I use Dragon's Papercraft in the UK for essentials. They have sensible prices and a speedy service. Well, there you go. Now there's a recommendation from Anne. Dragon's Papercraft in the UK. Check it out. Thanks, Anne, for that. That's brilliant. Anne said that looks lovely. Benita said it looks savage. Benita, savage. Hazel says she loves it. And how much dollars want to spend? I just can't see the rest of that comment, James. Let me just put a heart in there and then I can see the rest of your comment. How much dollars do you want to spend? Oh, James is asking. Well, look, you know, I just would like to get a good printer that can scan the images that I print, that doesn't change the colors, because my scanner, the images that I print compared to the images that I draw, like if you look at the difference in those two there, this is my colored image using my Spectrum Noir, and then this is the image that my HP printer gives, you know, so there is a little bit of difference. So yeah, I suppose, I don't know if you're going to get a printer that's going to scan and give you the exact same images out, but I don't mind it being a little bit darker. I think it makes the colors look a bit richer, but my pinks aren't as pink as what I, you know, use my alcohol markers for. So again, I think it just depends on, you know, how much money you have. It's like having a camera for doing a live. You can use a €60 webcam, or you can buy a Canon camera for 1,200 euros. Do you know, it's all relative, you know. Um, Benita's laughing. Benita's always laughing at me. Right, I'm going to go with this setup. So it's different, and just for you to see. So I'm going to swivel my stamping platform around a little bit. That way I can pop that in. I'll have my cluster of 3 trees and my little Nomi there and my stamp sentiment. So I'm going to give it about the same border going all around. I'll remove these out of the way. I'll throw another magnet on there. We'll try and make sure that this is straight. I think that looks straight. Do you know what? It's handmade, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And to stamp this, I am going to use my VersaFine black. Where is it gone? Oh, here it is. Oh yes, I forgot. I have another sentiment over here that I want to use, from our gnome to yours. I'm going to use that as well. That's from the Stamp and Dies, the Gnomes Stamp and Dies. Now we'll do a little bit of ink on that, and then this can be drying and setting. Okay. Normally I don't do it in this. I don't use, like, normally I would start with assembling the card, and then my magnets just literally jumped together and bounced halfway across the room. I'm going to leave that on there for now. I can clean that later. I know I'm going to be stamping some more, so I'll just push them out of the way. I'm going to put the lid on that, and I can finish the rest of that. Now actually I do need to take that off, so I'm going to get my little microfiber cloth. I've dampened this a little bit, and I'm going to take my ink off and put my stamp back in place. I love to see crafters, and they're crafting on YouTube, and they just throw the stamp over there and they come back to it later. I'd do that, and then it would get legs and walk, and I'd never find it again. I want to stamp my Christmas on this part here. So this is going to go here. Then this is going to sit on top with a little border going all the way around. And I just want to know where I'm stamping my Christmas. This is going to slide up like so. So I want to move that out of the way, and I'm going to use my pencil, which I have here. I'm going to make sure I line this up properly, and then I'm just going to put 2 little marks there. Well, it's actually 3. And I can take my Christmas word, and I'm going to do some heat embossing on that. So I think I want that, throw down a magnet, move that out of the way there, and let's see, I think I want it just up a little bit. That's about right. I'm going to lift that up. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my embossing buddy, and I'm going to put loads of this down because I'm using white, and I don't want to have white little speckles. Although if that happens, I could run with it. I would get my gel pen and I would do like little, make it look like snow. So I'm also stamping on this because the sliding mechanism is going up and down on it, and I want it to be seamless, you know, fingers crossed. So we've got our embossing buddy. I'm going to get my embossing ink, and I'm gonna, the great thing about the stamping platform is I can do this a couple of times. I know that it's, oh, that's lovely. Now I'm going to do it again, just to be sure, as we say here in Ireland. Lovely. Now I've got my embossing powder here, and I keep it in a tub. Now I know a lot of companies don't recommend that you put your embossing powder in a tub, but I have done this. I've done this since I started embossing. It was actually the one thing that started me card making. My daughter, who worked in a what's it called, art and hobby shop here in Ireland, she got me a load of papercraft stuff, and one of it was a heat gun and embossing powder and doing this, and I saw on YouTube how to do it. I was blown away by it, and you know, it's something I don't do enough of now. It's very rare I do embossing because it does warp the card and all the things, but I have it in my mind I'm going to do more. Now I'm going to take my embossing gun and I am going to heat this up. I give my embossing tool, my heat gun, about 5 to 10 seconds to heat up. I don't think they need any longer than that, and I'm going to do that. Now I was watching someone the other day using a heat embossing tool, and I had headphones on, and it actually, YouTube muted the sound and then it came back on. But I'm just to let you know, I'm going to make a little noise now if you've headphones on. And there we go, it's as quick as that. And I like to heat from the back of the card as well as the front. There is a bit of warping there. I'm just going to hold it flat while the card cools down. And then because we're putting this on a card base, it will help to flatten it as well. But that's the thing with heat embossing. Isn't that fabulous? Isn't it magic? I just love it. So I'm going to move that over there. I'm going to take my little cloth. There's a few scratches on this because it's had glue and everything on it. Lovely. Oh, that's fabulous now. Isn't that gorgeous? And we've got a little bit of a shine on it. I do love that. Okay, so I think we need to now do a little bit of assembly. So this is going to get glued down on here. And I'm going to glue that down. And you can see I have a very skinny border going around this. Now to glue this down, I'm going to add a little bit of double-sided tape. And that's just to help with the warping. But I am going to use some liquid adhesive as well. I'm going to use some Kalal liquid glue to help with that. Now, and I'm not going to do it on any more because I didn't heat any more of the paper, and the rest of the cardstock is lovely and flat. It's just around where this is, so that will help keep that down. So let's move this over a little. I'm going to get my Kalal glue and give it a little shake. And I'll add some of that. And I get the really big bottle. I just decant it into this smaller one. This used to be a made to surprise accent glaze bottle. And I'm going to add some of my liquid adhesive down here as well. And I like to be generous. And I'm putting some over my double-sided tape. So that'll give me wiggle room because I don't want this to go down and then the whole thing be stuck where I don't want it. Yeah, make sure it's at the right place. So I'm going to focus on 3 sides and I'm going to focus on there. And there, and then I'm gonna lovely, and then I'm gonna bring back in and sit that down there for a minute. Now these 2 pieces, this now I want to put a sentiment on this as well, but I can always pull this out and stamp on it later, so that's my plan with that. I'll just move that out of the way there. Benita said, I was laughing about your sweet tongue you showed us. Oh yes, that was especially for you, Benita. James said, Canon Prisma series printers have a very high DPI rating, photo quality with excellent colouring. They range from $150 to $350. Well, now there's another recommendation for you folks. If you're in the US, I'm sure we can get the equivalent here in Europe and the UK. I'll definitely have a look at that recommendation later. James, hubby has, he has 1, 2, 3, 4. Hubby has 5 printers. Now they're all to do with printing up t-shirts and baseball caps and mugs and all the things which I'm not familiar with, but I'm using one of them for my printing because I have an old Epsom and it has a scanner in it and I use that, but it's out of ink. And I did mention before the price of getting ink for this printer is as much as buying a new printer with ink in it. Now I do know that the printer, if I buy a new printer with ink in it, it won't have as much ink as if I just go and buy ink refills to put in it. But it kind of galls me to have to go and pay so much for ink when I can get another printer. And I could get an upgraded printer, so yeah. So what we want to do now is this piece sits on here. Now it'll be the other way round. So we'll put on our card base, we will have this piece will sit on here, and then when this will sit underneath and it will be attached to this little tab here. So when we pull this piece up, this all slides up together like so, and that's how that's going to work. We'll have our lovely red then down here. So what I want to do is I want to put this piece here onto this first. So I want to sit this down so it just sits at the edge there like that, and it will have, let me see, if I give you a measure, it will literally come 1/8 over each side. So when you put that down, you know, you should have a gap. Now because I've used my 1/8 red liner tape either side, we've got a distance between the two, because if this piece was butted up literally next to where my tape is, it might cause friction when you're pulling it up and down. So for that reason, I'm using the 1/8 inch tape. Now, if you don't have it and you've only got a wider tape, like one of these two, what you could do is get some parchment paper, or greaseproof paper we call it here. But if you get some parchment paper and put, you know, a strip of your double-sided tape down on the parchment paper and then cut up through it, you could use your trimmer or your guillotine or your scissors, then you'd be able to get a thinner, you know, piece of your double-sided tape. I've done that before where I needed 1/8 and I didn't have it. I'd only a 1/4 inch. I put it down and I cut it in half the whole way up along. It worked a treat. So if you don't have the thinner one, you could do that. So I'm going to take off the release paper on this. And these things, they stick to you, look. Static. Isn't that what it is? So now I'm going to sit this down and I'm going to make sure that I've got my bit either side, about 1/8. Yeah. And it's just shy of the edge. There. Lovely. So now when I pull that up, it's going to work. Look. Isn't that fabulous? And we can always stamp, like I said, on this piece later. Not too pushed about that. So now what we want to do is I want this middle piece here to rise up, and I want these two panels to stay down. So when I pull this, I want them to stay down. So we can add a little bit of glue to this now. So I'm going to add some liquid adhesive in here. It doesn't take much. You don't have to go around. Well, I didn't see Sam doing the whole area of it. You could use a bit of double-sided tape as well. Don't get any on the edge there. That might cause your mechanism not to work. And then I'm going to flip that over and press that down. And that way then, the collal glue now takes about 30 seconds to set, whereas your white glue, your quick grab glue, that kind of sets in 5 to 10 seconds. So give that a minute. So now when I press, now do you see what's happening here? This piece is coming up. So I want this one to sit down, but I can't glue this panel down, because if I do, then the whole thing won't move because it'll be glued in place. So that's what our little bar is for. Now, where did I put that? Did anyone see that little bar piece? You know it's going to have gotten legs and walked. Well, it's white, so it's kind of hard to see it. Oh, here it is. Look, it's right down there. Benita said a lot of us started with the embossing powder. It's so satisfying to use. I agree. I love it. I don't use it enough. I'm going to use it more going forward. Hazel said I use paperweights. Great idea. James said, would you ladies like a cheat code? Oh, James, you have a cheat code for us? Do share. Oh, he said that I'm not going to pronounce this well, but I'm going to try. The Linne PixCut S1 color sticker printer and cutting machine. It's an all-in-one sticker maker for DIY crafts, custom labels and gifts. Well, now, James, if you have got something to share with us, you fire away, buddy, and you put that in there in the comments section. And what I will do is I will copy that and I will put it into the description after the live is over. So if you're watching this and you would like to get this cheat code that James is giving us, check down in the description. Of course, I'll have, you know, a list of the stuff I'm using, etc. down there as well. Okay, so now I'm going to move on with our little bar piece here. What I want to do is I want to weave this between the 3. So it's going to go under, over, and under. And you're going to see it sticking out either side here. Now you can either stick this down to the frame, just the frame on the outside, or you can stick it down to the frame underneath. So I'm going to flip this over now and show you. If I lift this panel up, this is going to stick down onto the frame here. I could really do with 3 hands. It's kind of hard to show you in the video here on the live. Okay. So I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it there? It can stick on to the back there. And that way then you won't have it showing here on the frame. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue there either side. So I'm going to grab my quick glue, and for this I'm using my Burley Arts Precision Glue. It's nearly down to the end, so it's kind of giving me a little bit of grief at the moment for working. My craft room is the coldest room in the house. Now, admittedly, when the heating is on and everything, it's about 18.5 degrees in here. But I do find my white glue sometimes gets a little bit snotty. So I want to put a little bit of glue on each end here. Yes, we have some. And then I'm going to feed this through. So it's going to go under, no, I want this one down, so it's got to go, oh, which way am I going? This way, okay. I had it upside down. Crafting fun. Okay, so I wanted to sit down against that bar, so it's going to go under there, and it's going under my frame. So that one needs to go there, and my frame needs to go there. And I'm keeping it just on this side of the score line here. And I'm going to press down on either side. It's kind of hard to show you how I did that, but showing you in the dry run kind of worked. So now when we pull this up, that's how it's going to work. And the bar there then keeps everything down. Now you could add a little bit of glue under that bar, and I think Sam does, so I might add a little bit of glue just down there as well for strength. And that all moved. That's the thing about live crafting. Let's see. Oh, of course it's not going to glue down, Simone. Why? Because you've still got your release paper down there. Okay, so I need to take this off. There's one. And then we'll take the other one. And then I'll take the bottom piece off. This blue one is harder to get off than the red one. Okay. Now I'm going to make sure that that is straight. It's a little bit on the wonk. There we go. And now we want to sit this down over here. So there's no taking back now. So I'm going to very easily and gently, I'm going to line up my bottom with my sides. And I'm going to hope for the best, because at the end of the day, it is a handmade card and I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. Lovely. Okay. Now I didn't add any liquid glue to that, so let's see how we get on. Fingers crossed now it works well. Live YouTubing. And there we go. Look at that. Isn't that fab now? It worked. Woohoo! And it slides lovely. Now, Sam does recommend that you use a punch and punch out. And I do have a punch. I should have put it on the table to remind me. But sure, look, we won't sweat it. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, maybe it will. It will work. Look. Okay. I'm going to pop that down there. Hopefully it worked. Woohoo! It did. So we have our little finger pull there on the back. And there we go. Works a treat. I love it. Yay! Right. Okay, so I'm going to put my glue pin back on my collal. It's just about embellishing it now, because we have our sentiment inside, we have our sentiment on the front. The only place I can add a sentiment is to here, and I can do that using my Stampin' Platform afterwards. I want to look now at embellishing. Let's have a look. Great, looks ideal, looks very clean. Oh, thank you very much. James said it's #1 seller on Amazon for what it's worth. Not exactly sure what the consumables cost. Well, that makes two of us, James. Good tip there, Simone. Thanks, Benita. Great idea. It looks very clean. Well spotted, Hazel said. Phew. Benita went, yeah, phew is right. If any time you want things to go well, it's when you're live on YouTube. At least when you're recording a video, you can just edit bits out, you know. Laura, good morning, Laura. Welcome to the live this morning, Laura. She said, morning, Simone and Benita. Nice surprise to find you this morning. Well, there you go. I do try. Let's see. Fabulous, Hazel said. Perfect, said Anne. Genius, said Tez. I'll take that, Tez. I don't know how much of a genius I am, but thanks so much. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my Mary on. And I'm going to pop that there like that. Now, if I close this down, I want to have my Mary floating, but I don't want to stick it down like that and then find out it's over the top of the card. So I kind of gauged this when I was prepping everything, that if my acetate is just shy of the score line there, it'll all be in. Now, once it's in, you know, inside the card size, we'd be fine. So I want to put that there. I also want to make sure that my Mary and, well, the M and the Y is halfway between, because my OCD dictates that it should be there. So I know that wants to go down there. Now again, I've used my double-sided tape for this. Because I'm using acetate, I find using liquid glue with acetate can be hit and miss. And the reason for that is I have found sometimes when I've used liquid adhesive with acetate, that when the glue dries on the acetate, it can actually pop off. So that's why I always go with a double-sided tape when I'm using acetate. So I think that's about centered there. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. That groaning sound is my dog Ghost over there. He's having a fabulous sleep, and hence the reason why he's moving in his sleep. I think that looks grand. Right, in for a penny, in for a pound. We're committed. There we go. And I'll just get the top off of this now. And what I might do is I've got some thin foam tape, and I might put a little bit of foam tape. That stuff is sticky, as in, you know, it's staticky sticky. I have these little strips. These are an Amazon strips that we got for a kinetic card style that Sam did, I think about 2 years ago. It's the slider one, you know, you pull it this way and two come out and you can have the quadruple or the double slider. We needed these for. I think my Christmas tree, now I have two pretty big ones here. Yeah, I think they're the biggest ones. I have two of them. I want them either side. Now I will have to be aware of where I'm popping these because I don't want it to get caught here. So I'm going to do the same there. I want to put that there. So to be sure, I'm just going to take a little bit off. I'm going to round those over. I don't think anyone is really, the recipient of this card isn't going to notice too much. I want to put that there. So I'm going to put a little bit of foam. It doesn't want to come up too far now. So I think there, and a little bit on the other side. Let's see how that is. Maybe if I put it actually on this might be a better idea. And this one over here. Might put another bit. Just because it doesn't feel very sticky. Let's have a look, see. Yeah, that needs to come off another bit. So we'll just put it. And the only reason I'm putting this astride my acetate is because it'll be about the same width. And I just know then that it has that extra little bit there to adhere to. That's all. And I won't have a wonky tree, you know, because like I said, this is construction weight acetate that I'm using. Okay, and I need to cut this up a little bit more. About there. I don't mind if it's over this much because when you put it in an envelope, you do have a little bit of wiggle room. I think there will be a little bit there. Okay. And I'll press it down on the double-sided tape. And then we have our acetate. Let's have a look and see how that is. Oh, smashing. Isn't that smashing now? Look. Isn't that grand? I'm only what? 10:30, 11:30. I'm only an hour and I've just got to this point. But sure, look, we're here for the craft and the chat. What else would you do? It's slashing raining outside. It's a horrible old day. Might as well be here crafting. Right, so I'm going to add a bit of tape, double-sided tape to this one now as well, because the other one has it. So I'm going to put a bit in there. And I'm going to trim the sides of this as well, just because I don't want that to, you know, put that one there like that, so I can go up that high. I'll put a strip across there because I don't want to adhere anything that's going to go past this score line, otherwise it won't pop up. I think that should be fine. I might add just another bit because I have them here, so why not? Just want to make sure that it stays inside. I don't want to go past this edge now either. So I'll put another little bit there. And another little bit on this side. Because no one wants a saggy middle. Or a saggy bottom for that either. Oh, ghosty, that's right. I always use red liner tape when sticking anything to acetate, Tez said. Yeah, well, you'd be with me now, Tez. I'd agree with that. I think just to be sure, I'd hate for someone to get something I made and the next thing it's popping off. Do you know? Poor construction, like. I'd hate for it, you know, to be a disappointment to someone to get something. Do you know, I see some crafters and they'll stick 2 little foam squares on and call it done, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Or like they'll add a bit of glue and they go shh, and that's it. And I'm like, oh no, you have to stick it all down and the corners. Okay, let's see how that is. And I can check the back, no foam hanging out or hanging over. Lovely, lovely. Yay. So now we've got our little gnomies, and I thought I would have them just set in front of the Christmas trees. I put one there and one there. I thought would be fun. They're sitting there waiting for Santa. And then we've got one can go here. Oh, do you know what we need to do? Is no one watching what I'm doing and taking control here? Benita, you're falling down on your job. I forgot to put my panels on. Oh my goodness. Before we go sticking anything else down, I think we should stick our panels down. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Sure looks grand as it is. Does it really need the panels? I don't claim to be a professional, guys, so yeah. Okay, and again, I have hand cut these, but there is a die there, and the reason I hand cut them is I wanted a kind of a similar border as to what I've gone on there with the red one. But yeah, there's lots of different dies that you can, you know, choose from. So yeah, very quickly put these on. I was watching a bit of YouTube while I was cutting these, so some of them might be a little bit shorter than others, but I'm not going to sweat that either. So I'm not. Let's see. Lol. I was just going to say that, Benita's shouting at me. Well, you should have shouted louder. Oh, oh. Did you all notice one of my lights? I've got 2 lights here out of the scenes that you can see. And they're great lights, but they're not a plug-in one. They're like you charge them up. They're, you know, the rectangle shape ones, they're like LED ones. But you know what? They only hold the charge. How long am I on now? About an hour. I suppose I had them on before I started. So they're there an hour and a half. And they're starting to dull down. Very disappointing. If you're thinking of getting lights for your craft room, maybe you want to be a YouTuber. My recommendation is buy ones that plug in, not the rechargeable ones, because they're a pain in the ass. Now, you see my bar that I have here? I'm going to put my cardstock over it because it's stuck down there anyway. And you know what it's going to do? It's going to hide it. No one's going to know it's there. I'm going to pull this up, turn it around the other way. I like actually the 2 panels there are going to be in white. So I'm just going to pull this up, and that way then I can get in here on this side a lot easier. Yeah, that looks good. So I'll add a little bit of glue to this one as well as my finger, because you know, live crafting here. Benita's laughing at me. I thought it was a little too white. Haha, Benita says. Benita, crafty sister, I'll see you for that later. Ted says, Simone, your panel's down, lol. Panels down indeed. Okay, I think that is a little bit long. Oh, before it glues. Yeah, I think that could do with being a little bit shorter. Did I cut a smidge off of it? Yeah, hopefully that'll be better. I'll just add another bit of glue to this. Okay. That's better now. And they're a little bit wonky, but you know what? Wonky donkey. That's grand. That one's good for there, and this one is good for there. Lovely. Let's get these stuck on. So are any of you guys crafting? Well, I know Tez was doing a bit of crochet. Are you still crocheting, Tez? Are you just watching and chilling out and reading the feed? Or are you in your crafty space doing a bit of crafting? Me on in the background, waffling away here. Chilling out. Wonky trees. Saggy middles. I tell you, you get it all here, James. I'm telling you, I haven't seen you on a live for a little while, and I bet you've missed it, huh? For the good old Irish crack. Yeah. Queen of Wonky. Okay. I'm sorry now you can't see what I'm doing because it's facing me, but needs must and all that. But there we go. We have our panels on there. And isn't that lovely and festive? We just need to add our little gnomes on now. So I really think I like the idea of him being there, and because I can, I'm going to put some foam tape behind him. So it looks like he's going, Merry Christmas. Yeah, I think I like that. Do I want to put a little Christmas tree behind him as well? Let's have a look. As we're going trees. I like that. What do we think? Can you see? Shall we have our little gnome there with a Christmas tree? Now, I mean, look, I could have cut out some gifts, you know, and had presents around there, making a really nice cluster. But sure, do we have to? No, we don't. Do we need to? Ghosty is groaning, moaning and groaning. I'm going to stick a bit of foam tape on him. These now are a little bit thicker. They're a little more than 1/8, but a little less than 1/4. So these would be a thinner foam than these ones. I think I'm going to stick my tree down on this one. Do I want to stick it down? Yeah, because then I'll be doubling up on the foam tape. So I'm going to add liquid adhesive here. Now, how far up do I want to go? Not too far, because my gnome is going to be on top of that. So where is that? Bottom of the bow there. I don't want to go up much higher than that. So I'll pop that on there. And then I'll stick my little gnomey, my homey gnomey now. Do I want him or him? Oh, I think I'll put him because he's got little snow polka dots on his, and it goes with the card. And I think I might put him inside is what I'll do. Yes. So I need a bit of foam for this guy. And I'm going to add a little bit of foam up here as well, because we have the tree there to support it. And we'll take off our backing paper. I had planned on redoing my nails, but I was filling in a trench. Hubby and I were laying electric cable at the weekend. So the weekend before, we dug a trench from the house over to the garage, which is going to be the workshop. And yeah, I split my thumbnail, so I had to cut that down short. And then last Sunday, filling it in and putting the patio bricks I split another nail, so I was going to have lovely nails for Christmas, but I don't think I will now. So my gnome that I'm putting in, I'm not going to put him down against the bottom here. I'm going to lift it up about 1/16 a smidge, because I don't want it to catch when it's being slid. Is that a word? When I'm sliding it in or out. Look at that. Isn't that smashing? Huh? Merry Christmas. Love it. So we want to put 2 of our other guys. And I was going to use these 2 and have one either side like that. And I'm going to put them up on foam. I do really like the idea of having, do we want our 2 gnomies with them all with their hands up like so? So do we want to go hands up, or do we want to go sitting down? Okay, so in the comments pretty quickly, are we going sitting down or are we hands up? Which do you think we should use? Answer in the comments now while I read a few more. Tez is in the comments shouting at me, Simone, put a spinner, put on a spinner. Yeah, no. I just think they'd have to be up too high to spin. Do you know what I mean? Would they? Yeah. In the next one, I'll put a spinner on. Yeah, because if I put a spinner on, no, I'm not going to Tez. No. But I do like the idea. I think my middle gnome would have been very cute with a spinner on. But yeah, I missed out on that one. So there we go. I should have put a spinner out to remind me. I didn't even think of it. Okay, so sitting down, hands up. One of each. Helpful, but I like both. Anne says, yeah, I think we'll go with sitting down. I think sitting down got more. I like the idea of having 2 the same there. So, yeah, I think we'll go with the 2 because I don't know if I like the idea of hands up, hands up. I think I would have put 2 hands up and 1 sitting down, or 1 hands up and 2 sitting down. I mean, we could embellish, you know, you could have them down here as well. So nothing says I can't have them down here. You know, I could have the 2 of them up there. And then the 2 of these down here. And I could even have 2 over there like so. Put them up on a... Guys! Ta-da! I think that's what we'll do. What do you think of this layout? I'll put 1 in each corner here, framing the Christmas. And then we have our 3 gnomies here going Christmas. What do we think? What do we think of this layout? I like this layout. Gotta be honest, I think I'm going to go with this layout. That was the one I meant to put it on. I know, Tez, I'm sorry. I don't look at the comments often enough. But this. Benita says, no! Lol. Yes, says Hazel to this. Okay, ta-da, says Benita. Good morning, Carmel. Good morning, Carmel. I don't think I gave you a shout out. Or it's Carmen. Sorry, the screen is a bit far. Carmen. Good morning, Carmen. That is the one, Carmen says. Tez says, got it. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I love that. I think that is fab. And I'll use my slim foam over here. So they're lifted up a little, so when my slidey part here comes, they'll slide off. So I've got a foam on this fella. I'm going to stick him down. Now I do want to add another bit. Let's see. I'm going to cut this in half. I forgot to bring a little drink up with me, and I'm feeling a little bit tickly in my throat now, but we will keep going. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. 12:05. Well, we did have a late start. Now, I'm very cognizant of the fact that I don't want his hand sticking out too much. But I think he should go there. And again, I want to watch this side here as well. So another bit of foam on our little gnomey here. And here. We have 14 watching now and 20 thumbs up. So thank you so much for all the thumbs up, guys. And again, I'm going to have these just hovering off the bottom because I don't want them getting caught. So I know they take up a lot of the Christmas tree, but you can see Christmas behind them. Okay, so I'm going to use some of my slim foam here. And I'm going to add that to about there. I'm going to bring it over to there a bit. We'll see how we're doing. And I'm going to add another bit. And I'm going to put it actually across the bottom of him. And then I'll know I have it right. And I'll add it across the bottom of him. And let's see. Okay. Just there like that. Now that's lifted up. And I can do the same with this little guy. So that will go there like that. And I think I'll bring the actual foam up the side of him here. And we'll cut that off as well. He will go down there like so. Let's see. Want to make sure he's all the way over. Lovely. Oh, look at that. Isn't that smashing? I do love that. Let's have a look now and see. And it slides under, look, because we've got the bit of lift there from our foam. So that will go under. And our little, I could have actually brought them in more looking at it now, because we've got the room there behind. I want to put a little star onto our one tree there. I'm going to add a little bit of glue on there and pop my glue pin in because I know it's going to get snotty otherwise. But we do have the inside to embellish as well. Remember, Sam is on earlier today, Tez said. Oh, was she on earlier? I thought she was on at usual time. What time is she on at, Tez? Laura Hobbs gave it a thumbs up. Thank you, Laura. Pippa says she loves it. Shaz says it looks fab. I'm going to add a little bit of, I'm going to go with gold. I'm going to pop that just on there like so. We could actually embellish with a couple of other little gold stars. I have some, but I do like the look of that now. And it pops up like so. Oh, that's smashing, isn't that smashing? So I want to embellish the inside now. And what I'm going to do after the live is I'm going to take some of my accent glaze, add it onto the stars and their nose and their little shoes. and leave that to dry, and I'll take pictures and put that up later. We've also got a little bit of, oh, I do like that, folks. What do we think of having our mistletoe on there? Do we like that idea? A little bit of mistletoe on both sides. I mean, we have the room for it. What do we think? Is it too much? Because, you know, oh, and we've got our Santa as well. I totally forgot about our Santa. Oh, darn, I forgot I had that. I think I would like the Santa. Oh, we could stamp our Santa there. We could stamp our Santa and put ho, ho, ho underneath. I did actually die cut out a little arrow, you know, for the pull mechanism. I'm nearly sure I did. We could always die cut out another one really quickly. But what about if we stamp our Santa here and put ho, ho, ho underneath? So when it's closed, you won't see it. And then when you pull it up, you'll have Santa. I like that idea. Will we do that, folks? I'm going to embellish inside first, and then I'm going to finish with doing that. I think that'll be very, very cute. Why not? Okay, let's see. We've got a couple of our trees here. Do I want another one? Where's my trees? I did think of doing 3 trees. Do I have another one here? Oh, I do, look. So maybe we could do our trees there. And our little Gnomey. I do like the idea of that. What do we think, folks? Yeah, I'll do that. Right, I'll glue. I can bring that up actually a little bit higher, because we'll have our trees and our little Gnomey there. Yeah, okay, so about there. Right, I'll take that. Oh, come on. Do you know what? I'll use the collal, seeing as it's there. Okay. Sounds great, Simone Benita said. Looks good, Carmen says. Tez says you're welcome. Thank you, Tez. Did you mention what time Sam is on? Benita likes the idea of the mistletoe out the front as well. And so does Carmen. I think I might give the mistletoe a miss and stamp the Santa and the sleigh instead. What do we think? I like the idea of that. I think that would be fun. And then when you pull up that tab, you've got something there. I like the idea of that. We'll add another little bit here. And again, my collal is running out now. Now my little man is going to go there. So I think we'll put that up there. And we'll have him here. Yeah, that looks nice. It's like a little cluster. Come and buy your Christmas trees. Okay. A little bit to this. I think that's enough. Yeah. We'll add him down here. Oh, that looks fun. That'll be a nice surprise to open the card and then see that inside. I think that's lovely. Pulls in what's going on out here inside. Okay, so let's put some glue pins back in our glue bottles, and I'll quickly grab my stamping platform and those stamps. Okay, let's see if we can okay, stamping platform is the first thing, and I'm going to pop that over there, and this will need to go on here, and I'll need to close the door, so I'll have to bring that up like that, but I can plop a magnet down there. And will that still close? Yes, it will, just about. Okay, so that will work. Now, where is my, I have that here. So let's see. So this is in the Treetops Stamp and Die set. I've got my dies here and the stamps, so we'll stamp our little Santa. Just watch I don't lose any of those little dies. So this needs to be upside down now, and we need it to be far enough down so it's hidden. I want it to be a surprise when you pull it out. So I'm going to put that there like that. And I'm going to stamp this first. We'll get our VersaFine Claire Nocturne is what I'm using. And we could actually put on it from our house to yours. Do we like the ho ho ho, or from our gnome to yours? Instead of home, it's gnome. What do we think? Do we want ho ho ho, or from our gnome to yours? Now, let me see. Lovely and juicy. Okay, which do you think? Ho ho ho, or from Simone? I just had to block a person there. No worries. That's great, Benita. Thank you very much. This is why it's good to have a moderator in the chat. Carmen says she likes the idea of ho ho ho. There's Sam. Hi, Sam. Thank you for popping in. Hopefully you can see what we're doing. We're using your slider. We're also using your gnomes from the It's a Gnomes Life. We are using some of your pattern paper and some of your ephemera, all the made to surprise things we have going on there. Hazel says ho ho ho. Benita says ho ho ho. Sam said it looks good. Thank you so much, Sam. Carmen, I think we're all saying ho ho ho. So ho 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 it is. Okay. Now I just have to find ho ho ho. But I'm sure there's one there somewhere. So let's have a look. And all those stamps that I have here by Made to Surprise, there's bound to be, well, we've got Prosecco ho 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 ho, ho ho bloody ho. Oh, guys, I've got to use it. I've got to use that. It's in the Vintage Christmas Sentiments A5 stamp set. Can you see it there? And down here it says ho ho bloody ho. I've got to use it, guys. It was meant to be. Look, it was meant to be. If I wasn't meant to put ho 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 there. I love it. Okay, so ho ho bloody ho. Now I need to make sure that's straight. So let me swivel this around. I'm going to move some stuff out of my way, and I'm going to turn this around so that I can see what I'm doing, because I want to make sure I get that straight. So ho ho bloody ho. Yeah, and that seems to be right in the middle. Excuse my head now. I'm going to look right on. Yes, I'm going there. Okay, hopefully this is going to stamp properly because it's right on the edge. But sure, look, we'll give it a go. Ho, ho, bloody ho. I think that is priceless. Oh, it's very nearly there. Okay, we'll give it another lashing. And we'll pop that up there. Oh yes, love it. Ho, ho, bloody ho. Fabulous. And I've got a little, there was a little, where is that gone? This one has a little like snow sprinkling. So I think I will just chuck that onto a little block. I've got one back here, a little teeny one. If I can get it out, yes we can. And I think I will just put a couple of, now I'm not going to do black, I'm going to pull out grey. Where is my grey? It's not there, not there. Let me see. This is totally unplanned. There's my grey. Okay. Ho, ho, ho. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, so I've got my little snow, and I think I'll just put a few sprinkles of those. Maybe I could have done second generation as well. And third. I'm going to stamp that off a little bit and do another one up here and another one, because we want 5 now, otherwise it's going to look lovely. Okay, so we have that. Now the only thing I know, I die cut out the arrow from the set. You see there's a little arrow in here for the pull. I know I had that done there. Not Murphy's Law. There's always something goes missing. Yeah, I had it in the box here. Definitely. I think the borrowers must have took it. But yeah, I'm going to pop one of those on there as well. I've also got the pull. Is that to hand? No. I rejigged my craft room. And yeah, I'm going to do that later. Mind you, look, here, I've got my little scout. Let's do it so it's finished. I've got some black cardstock. We'll cut a bit off. And we've got the dies here. So let's finish it. If we're going to do it, let's do it right. There's my little arrow. You know what? After the live is over, I will be putting stuff away. And you know what I'm going to find? I'm going to find that little arrow. So I've got my little scout here. This was a brilliant investment. I'm so chuffed with it for doing all the small things, but you've got such a long plate. It is fab dibby doza. I love it. Okay, put that there. Now I want to be careful I don't lose my little arrow or my die. Put that over there. I'm going to put this back. So I have everything there now. A little bit of glue. I'm going to give that a little clean. see, does it work? Yes, it's coming out. So, reverse tweezers for the win. Add a little bit of glue. Sam, if you're still in the chat, what time are you live today? And I'll put my arrow. We point it up, don't we, guys? I think that's centered. Yes. Lovely. So, did I want to add a few little stars? I think to pick up the gold there, I might just dot one or two around there. Okay, I mightn't remember where I put those glue now, because actually I need a bigger little tub. I can throw my stars into it, make it easier for me to see them. We need our pickup tool and a couple of little stars. 1, 2. Where else did we put some drops? I think we have one there and one there. And did we do them elsewhere? I think that's one. I think I'm going to do another one just up here. And my glue will dry matte. So I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you're supposed to go in odd numbers, but are we happy? I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. Lovely. And I'll pop those all back in there. Now I shall pop my glue pin on. And there we are. How are we doing for time? Just coming up to 12:30 here. And I was a little bit late starting because we had audio issues, so I had to come out and go back in. Okay, so there's Dawn. I'm here for it, James says. 1:30, Simone. So Sam is live at 1:30 today rather than 2. Let's see. Hi Simone, I'm a bit late getting here, but it's great to see you again. Great card so far, Dawn. Thanks for joining, Dawn. It's lovely to see you. The video will be left up, so you can go back and watch from the beginning if you like. Ted says, I found my Santa Claus the movie yesterday. It had fallen behind the CD rack. I missed it last year. It's now on my to-do watch list. Yeah, it is one of those. It is one of those. It's a Wonderful Life is my favourite one that I like to watch. And the Willy Wonka, I like to watch Willy Wonka over the Christmas. But so many great Christmas movies now. James Pearl said mistletoe. Do you know what, James? I'm going to give it a miss because do you know why? This is why. Boom, there's Santa and his ho ho bloody ho. It makes me laugh every time. And do you know what I put on the back of my envelopes? May contain socks. It's another great one that Sam had. I love it. She finally saw it, Tess. Yay, says Tess. Fabulous live, Simone. Pippa said, I just love the card. Thanks so much, Pippa. Thank you so much. That's lovely to hear. Beautifully savage card, which Hazel says. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm taking a bow, taking a bow. Let's see. Love the card, Simone. Benita says, it's stunning. Thank you. And yeah. So that's it, folks. There is our slider card. Inside we have decorated as well. I love that cluster down there, and I like the idea of having my sentiment down the bottom. It will encourage me to write the message to the recipient rather than just the to, you know, Alicia and Jens from mom and dad or whatever. I think it encourages you. So I do like the idea, and I like that taking those little gnomies and making them Christmas. Like I said, you could do so much more to this. You could add some gift boxes around the Christmas tree and everything, but it's just to give you an idea. And if any of you stamp the Santa Claus with that ho ho bloody ho, that'll make me giggle to see it. So if you've enjoyed my video and you decide to make the card, please do share it with me on my group page. I have a group page called Your Cards and Crafts. And I'm going to actually turn everything up to the desk now and come back to me again. So there we go. Lovely. So if you've enjoyed the live, please do hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if I'm new to you and it's your first time joining me. I'd love to have you. And don't forget to ding the bell. That way you'll be notified when I do share more videos or more lives. And it's free. It costs nothing to subscribe to any channel on YouTube, but it does help the content creators to grow. So this is our fab card. I love it. I just think I love the mechanism. Sam is definitely the queen of cool mechanisms. I'm just trying to get it so that you can also, everything is flipped, so it's kind of hard, but I hope you can see there, you know, how it looks. Now, the recipient might decide to display it like so on the mantelpiece. And if they do, doesn't that look great? You know, I know there's no Christmas there for them to see, but you know, you could display it like that, or you could display it open. I think it needs to be set like that on the mantelpiece with the whole thing up. But yeah, and then inside we have our lovely sentiment in there, and we have our lovely Christmas trees all on the wonk. Yeah, so that's it, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll have a new video coming to you really, really soon. I have a big announcement to make in December, so make sure you're tuned in to hear that. Exciting news. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. Again, thank you so much to all of you who joined me during the live and left comments. There's lots of content creators in the chat. Please do have a look and click on their channels. You might find that they are making things that you really enjoy watching, so click on those as well. So that's it. Until next time, thanks so much for watching. Take care and bye for now. Bye bye.